So soul retrieval is like retrieving a part of the soul that's been damaged or fragmented. So just like we can have a physical wound, we can have a soul or spiritual wound.
Core shamanism focuses on healing the soul. The soul is a person's essence, which may fracture because of a traumatic or stressful experience. A fractured soul can contribute to illness in the mind, body, or spirit.
And they set up a sacred circle, and it's the very center of the yurt itself. You lay down and they cover you up. I had to cover my eyes with a bandana, and I had a blanket on. She said, okay, just let go. She said, you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to experience anything. Just be comfortable and open your heart.
Jim will drum, and then Roxanne will connect with her guides. She'll rattle. She'll say my name and she'll say my intention. She lays down next to me and touches me. And by having her contact with me, it allows her to kind of merge the journey with me. And she'll just like lay there and she'll, experience, she'll get the information.
I think there's a certain prayer or something that they do that closes the session.
The whole thing takes about 45 minutes.
Inside myself, I couldn't go back to the daily life, the thoughts, the things that come around in your head. You sit down and think about how many lives you actually have affected. Started drinking too much, way too much, every night. I didn't sleep. Ever since, pretty much after the war, I started out, I was getting about 1.5, 2 hours sleep a night. I didn't want for my eyes to be closed. I guess more than to think of things. It sounds very simple, but as soon as I stood up, I had an inner strength in me that I have not felt ever before. A strength that just, it couldn't go away. I knew something had shifted, something had changed. And I walked out here, I felt like I could pick up a building. And I went home that night and I slept. Slept for 8, 9 hours, and I have been sleeping ever since. I love sleeping now. The time when I did the soul retrieval, I was basically at a fork in the road. I had to go down the right way or the left way, and quite honestly, my foot was more on the left than it was on the right. And without that soul retrieval, I know I wouldn't be here today. I would have self-destructed.
So when I was like 11, maybe, my uncle touched me in a weird, bad, inappropriate way, and nothing else ever happened because I jumped up and got off because he was sitting in his lap. He was like tickling me. And then I jumped up and I went in the room and I told my mother, and she didn't believe me. And I was crying. I was so upset. Like, how could she not believe me? And was I making this up? I felt really embarrassed. That experience, not only made me feel unsafe, it also made me feel, less confident and less secure with my uncle, but it affected my relationship with my mother. Having something like that I wasn't even aware of even, I knew it happened and it wasn't good, but I didn't really know how much it affected me. So that came up in my second soul retrieval, and I got healing there. But one of the biggest things that was different was I was craving meat. And I don't really eat much meat, and it didn't really make sense to me. I just was going with it. So then I was looking in this book about chakras, and I was doing like an art project, and I read in there with either the first or the second chakra that meat in particular is associated with that chakra. And so it all made sense all of a sudden. Like, okay, I've been craving meat because my second chakra was really getting a lot of healing with this. And my second chakra has to do with security and family and my roots and how you're so rooted in your family and your early childhood experiences.
I'd been working a long time on becoming who I was really supposed to be in this life. I always knew I had something special, an extra sense, so to speak. When I had my soul retrieval, Roxanne explained to me that the reason I'd been hiding it under a bushel all these years is because when I was about 2 or 3, I was sitting on the steps of my father, and my father was explaining to me that the people that I see and the people that I talk to are just in my imagination, and that I was getting to be a big girl now, and that I should probably not talk to them a lot anymore. So that just right there stifled everything that I would have been able to experience. Somewhere after the soul retrieval, I had a meditation, I suppose, and I learned that I had a very important role to play this life, and that was to help not non-believers but skeptics to understand that we have our world and we have heaven, and that there's also another world right outside of our world that most of us don't see. So one of my roles is to open those doors, to help people understand, and maybe not understand or recognize or accept, but have that knowledge.